can,
Yeah, I love that.
be here.
Yep.
Oh no.
You're right. It's okay.
Cut it, Sammy, cut it.
Welcome to Fika's Focus. Voices leading change.
Live here, sitting here with the awesome Britt, and we first off, massive congratulations. Like I said to you and Rose, Rose she was so quick to getting into leadership position, coming from primary school, similar to you. Came in as a mum initially, similar to you, and then it's been a rapid ascension for you in that setting. I want to mihi out to Rose, and her ability to develop people is phenomenal. Yeah, she's actually, and that goes back even to Rosie, who was incredible at developing Rose in terms of her development and ascension. But we Future Focus are really proud to have you in this position.
Thank you.
And your iteration kind of version 4 of leadership or 5 of leadership now. So it's an exciting time.
Thank you. It's been a very fast journey.
Yeah.
And I'm still like swallowing it all, but
yes.
Yeah, working alongside Rose has been incredible.
The fascinating thing is you only know what you know until you get in there.
Yeah.
And we're really proud of the fact that we've got the structure in place to not just drop people in the deep end. And I've spoken about this so many times. The only way to learn how to, my initial thoughts were, the only way to learn how to become a principal was to become a principal. You can't go to university and do all that. And actually now, upon realization that that's wrong, so you can learn how to be a leader. Principal's just a title.
Yes.
Leadership is a behaviour. And yes, there are some things that you're like, what the heck? How do I fill out that attestation form? Or what the heck does this mean?
The admin.
The admin stuff. But ultimately, it is our job to go out and lead people.
Yes, and I even felt that in the classroom though, like the structure of leadership within Future Focus, it doesn't sit up here. It like is well and truly within the classroom environment too.
Yeah, we've worked hard at that.
Yeah.
Just because Courtney and we're humble people, we're normal people. We've been lucky with Courtney's dad and parents. They've done very well, but they're just normal Joe Blogs people that enjoy a line read at the end of the day and like being with their people, just like us. But to have you come through that, like I said, this iteration, which is like version 5 of our leadership structures, it's nice to hear that for us. So let's go backwards a wee bit.
Sure.
Where you're from, and let's hear about your teaching career and go from there.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Tauranga. Well, born in Wellington, grew up in Tauranga. I went to Bethlehem College, which I'm not always so proud to say. I will say I had a very lucky and privileged upbringing, but I also had this juxtaposition of my Cook Island heritage, where I'd go back to the islands regularly, and my life in New Zealand and their life over there was like so different. Also spent a lot of time in Auckland with my family out in South Auckland. So yeah, there were parallels, but also like I'd always be like, whoa, like this is my world that I loved both worlds so deeply, but struggled for a long time to find how they connect and how I can bridge that connection between both. So then I went to university. I did a year in Auckland, then transferred down to Wellington, and I did a couple of design degrees, photography and design degrees, and then I did a Bachelor of Education. So that didn't allow me to actually teach. It was more the like structure of education itself.
Oh, so you didn't major in a subject or
no
major? Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, it was just education, like curriculum and all of that kind of.
So
stuff.
a BEd, not a not a B teach. Yep.
And then I did my diploma in primary school teaching, and I was like, I'm going to be a primary school teacher. Like that's what I wanted to do. And then my first placement was an intermediate, and I cried for days, being like, I can't do it. Like 12-year-olds scare me. Like, what am I? Like, I want to be with the little people. And then I loved it and like thrived with the intermediate
Yes.
level. I did a few placements at primary after my intermediate, and I was like, no, I like need to be in there before they go to high school and really like, I guess, support them into their journey to almost adulthood,
Yes.
you know, like into the workplace. And they're starting to think of all that by year 8 before they get into high school and having to pick subjects. And I really wanted to be in there to help them align their strengths because they don't always see their strengths, and whānau always have a perception, and it was kind of bringing them in to be like, these are your strengths, this is where you could go, and being that bridge for them into high school, which is a scary environment for some.
It's a big shift and big transition, and I loved intermediate. That was, although I'm glad the career path I took, which went straight into new entrants, but intermediate was certainly my jam.
Yeah.
It's similar to you in that sense. It's like not just creating subjects that create options, but also the awareness piece.
Yeah.
You know, it's like how do I give you a roadmap with different routes, like one of those books, Choose Your Own Ending.
Yep.
You know, that's the way, especially for kids in South Auckland. Obviously West Auckland, Kelston. It's those sorts of scenarios. Tokoroa, where I'm from, it's trying to create the opportunity for people to see what they don't know, and paint that picture for them.
Yeah, and coming from a place of, for me, like privilege, where I've had like endless opportunity, and bringing them into that with me, like being able to bring them into that space as well. Yeah. I think also a lot of my teaching, the beginning of my teaching journey, I had this like saviour mentality where I just wanted to like go and save people. And I've also had a long process of being like, it's actually education's the key and the value, and that will save them.
Yeah,
and
the experience of education.
Yeah.
Yes.
Being able to be that vessel for them is actually more important than going in and saving them. Like, I'm not actually doing anything productive by doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Cook Islands. Talk to us about where you're from there.
Yeah, so my nana is from Rarotonga. Titikavaka is my village there. She was brought over to New Zealand very young, around 16, as part of the schemes that they had going, where they'd bring young girls over for housework. She met my papa, who I never got to meet in New Zealand. He was a very wealthy businessman down in Wellington. So we're still digging into that heritage, because a lot of it was lost in that generation. Language and culture, especially through my nana, because she was almost gentrified into that society, which she loved, but it also, there's a lot of my in my family that she was, had this amazing, beautiful life when she came over here, and for a lot of them, they felt really stuck.
Yes, yeah.
And so working through all of that too.
That's certainly a contrasting experience that I have with the Cook Islands people being brought up in Tokoroa.
Yeah.
Because Tokoroa is like the 16th star. That's that's what they say.
Yeah.
And I grew up with my Auntie Ari, who's from Aitutaki, and she's a Benioni, and it's like she was just the soul of the place, man. Like, and the Cook Island, her cousin Tapata, like that, they were just like this energy in the town.
Yeah.
They were good rugby players.
Yeah.
They were good at netball. They were always tennis, always big hosts, always kai at their table.
Yeah.
My Auntie Ari actually whāngai kids out of the Cook Islands, brought them to New Zealand, and One of my cousins in particular, Daniel, him and I, still yarn, still talk. But all the older kids all got traditional, especially the boys, mata and tira, and all got those traditional Cook Island names. I never felt my auntie missed that element because it was very Cook Island.
Yeah.
In the home, at school, we always had Pasifika, always had the pate playing somewhere or the uke somewhere. You know what I mean? And then I got out into the world and found this. I found people were like, "Oh, I'm broken away from my Samoan or my Cook Island culture," and I was like, "Huh." And that's my privilege in this sense. And I'm not Cook Islander, but I feel like I am because I spent a lot of time with my auntie Ari. In fact, she gave me a design that I carry on my arm with my tata, with tattoos. In that sense, and it's like, it was an eye-opening experience for me meeting Cook Island and Samoans that were broken away from it. Because I was like, hey, bro, in Cook Islands and Tokoroa, we grew up around that.
Yeah.
It was like a thing, I think
it's just that community.
Yes.
Around you, and I'm not sure, like I'm still having kōrero with my family around like who was there for my nana in that sense. And I think there were obviously other girls that came over. She wasn't the only one, but like what happened to them? Like where were they? And did they want to let go of all of that? Or were they still holding on to it? But it's all that.
But there's the correlation there between what you just spoke about, the saviour, being the saviour, and then carrying pain, mamae, in some of those spaces. The saving piece, which I can relate to, is built off the mamae, the pain.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in some ways, it leads us to make poor decisions for children, which I know I certainly did, because I thought I saw the best for them and through a lens of saving.
Yes.
But actually, elementally, it didn't give them the pieces to take opportunities built on the environments or vessels I was for them, because my model was of saving versus empowering.
Yeah,
100%. And so I know what you're talking to, because the pain is what drives who we are. Like me, I wanted to be a teacher because I felt I could be a better teacher than who I had. So that means I have to go out and save the kids from the...
Yes.
And I was so combative. Oh, you're a crap teacher, so I'm going to save you from...
Yes. Yes.
It manifested in great things too. And I always pat myself on the back for some of the awesome stuff I did with kids. But how does a kid go and have the best year of their life with me and go the next year and have a terrible year? That was on me. Yeah.
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 And I felt that too. I think Kelson Intermediate was like my dream role.
Yep.
But if I reflect upon that, it still definitely was my dream role, but not for what I thought it was. Like I was like, yes, I'm going to be in these communities that I can save. But actually, I just wanted to be a part of the environments that they like so beautifully had. The connections to family, like deep-rooted connections to their culture is actually what I was craving. And it took a while for me to get to that point of like, actually I'm here to empower you through this instead of like save you from this, because what am I saving you from? Your beautiful, like the histories and
faith in the Cook Island or Pasifika realm, the faith as in church, as a saviour piece exists and is still extremely strong. But what I saw the PIC in Tokoroa about was actually about action. The PIC church was a way for us as a community to continue to connect, and not just with Cook Island. We had Samoan, had a lot of Samoan, Niuean, Māori, obviously Pākehā or Papa'au, Palangi, whatever you want to call it in that sense. But I grew up in an environment where we were just very accepting. Quite frankly, we were like, who's got the best kite? We'll go to their house. Whose mum won't give us a kick up the backside? Yeah, we'll go to that house. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. My privilege was I grew up just around. I knew the cultures, but actually, in culture of community, and PIC churches actually do that. Not just Tokoroa, but they actually nationwide. Pacific Island ones. They were built on delivering faith through action, through engagement, through acknowledgement, you know, for mourning, for, you know, in passing tangihana, you know, there's just so much to it in that sense. And that's where those revelations that you and I have had, we only get to see those now post probably leaving and unpacking a lot of stuff ourselves.
Yes, within myself too, and like my perspective of myself within those spaces as well, coming in as like you wouldn't know there's a drop of Polynesian blood in me, you know, and how does that present?
Depends how much oil's in your hair if you have it out long.
And how much time I've spent in the sun. But yeah, front facing is like, so that was also another sort of challenge, I guess, within myself as a teacher, like how I'm presenting to the tamariki in front of me, and like also like how much of that do I give, you know, like there was always this kind of like pull and drag with how much of my upbringing and that I bring into that space. Yeah, again, though, that's through that saviour lens of like, I don't want to be like come across the wrong way to you, because I know that your living situation right now is so far from what I've ever experienced in my life. Like, how do I relate to you? I want to, but I don't want to save you. But also, like, I don't have that experience to be relatable right now. And it was finding avenues to get there that we could find those parallels. And it was just basically through education.
Education's a good conduit for that.
Yeah.
But then so is leadership.
Yeah.
Leadership challenges that.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a saviour.
Yeah.
How do you stay aware whether you're slipping back into that mode? Because I'd love to say I've managed to address a lot of that.
Yeah. I think like this was another interesting conversation that I've had with Lauren when we were going through my PGC, and I'm now on the other end where I'm like, I've got all this beautiful cultural knowledge and I've come to a very Pākehā papa'a space, and I'm like, I've been doing this for so long and worked myself through like that saviour mentality, and now I'm here and I'm like, I want to bring all of that in here, but you guys all have a very similar background to mine, so now I'm like in this crossover again with being authentic to who I am still in a very different space right now to where I've been. And I did have moments where I'm like, am I going backwards? Like I want to be in these realms, and I've worked so hard to be in these spaces, and now I'm here and it looks really different. Does that mean I'm going backwards, or am I leveling up in a different way to bring these people along with me this way?
So what do you think? What are you doing?
I think I'm leveling up. I'm not going backwards.
And what evidence?
Looks different.
What internal evidence do you look or feel? Because look is only a perception that that other people might see. Because if I've worked with you at Kelston, then I come with you to, or if I've went to school with you at Bethlehem College, then I go and train with you in Wellington, and then I work with you at Kelston and then come to Future Focus.
Yes.
I've been able to watch or look over an extended period of time to see growth and levelling up and things. But if I'm part of your team, I only see what I see because I don't internally know what you're doing. What do you think the levelling up has? What do you think the perceptions of levelling up feel like internally?
They've been confronting.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah, I think that's a fair. I think that when you are levelling up, you are certainly confronting.
Yes, and I know you guys talk a lot about like imposter syndrome, so I feel that a lot because I feel like I had that in that space, and I was like done a lot of inside work and like was supported incredibly, and now I'm in a similar space but with a different lens. And now I'm confronted again. And I'm not sure yet what that looks like to or how that feels to my team yet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you think they'd say, though? If I asked them, what do you think they'd say about you?
I think, well, the feedback I've had already is that it comes naturally.
Yes.
Which took a while to get to, like in my own head that I can,
Yeah, I love that.
be here.
Yep.
Oh no.
You're right. It's okay.
Cut it, Sammy, cut it.
So naturally when we talk to that,
they see it's come naturally, but I know it's taken.
Yeah. It's almost offensive when someone says that to me, like when, you're just so natural at it.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro, give me some credit.
Yeah.
I've
worked really hard.
I've had to work really hard in
here.
there, So I feel your pain.
Yeah, but I've never taken it too offensively, because I'm like, thank you. I needed to hear that.
Yep.
That's how you were seeing it, but I know. Yeah.
What else? What else?
Probably passionate.
Yep.
A lot of, I think they've seen my passion for the Pasifika space, and I've really tried to be gentle about it.
Yeah.
Because we know there's like limited knowledge, and I've felt that way before, so I don't want them to feel like, like where am I and what's happening, and this person's just come in and being like, we're doing this now. Which I don't think I'd ever lead like that anyway. I think I'm more at the back like this than up the front.
Yep.
As a leader style, I guess. I always think of like how birds fly and they put the weak in the middle. They have strong at the back, strong at the front. And I think naturally, I'm just at the back. Like, I really want to foster like independence within yourself, because I know you can, like you don't need me.
Yeah, I love that.
I don't want you to need me.
Yes.
Like, I'm here, but you can do it.
Yeah. And in that setting as a leader, because you've got your full reins now. The trainer wheels have been taken off in some ways. What are your points of reflection that allow you to actually pat yourself on the back? Because although that makes you emotional, which I really show gratitude to you for, how do you know, when do you pat, or how do you know that today's the day I pat myself on the back for doing something really great?
I think when I walk back into those spaces that I've been in for the past, 8 months has it been?
Yep.
In the classroom, and I see the kids and they like our relationships, because like when you're in there, you're like, you can't see it so clearly, it's always like hindsight, right? Like now that I've stepped out of the classroom and they're all like so warm and like excited to see me when I walk back in there, I'm like, I did have.
It is a hard thing in ECU. It is a hard thing in ECU because kids won't necessarily remember you.
No,
but like intermediate kids will certainly remember you.
I still have some of my students that are like nearly finished high school that still will message me and be like, "Hey, miss."
See, that's the hard thing about EC is that by the time they get to that age, they've forgotten about you. Yeah. It's a compounding thing.
Yeah.
But you're right. The best evidence, kids are always a great piece of evidence for you.
Yeah.
They will let you, especially little kids, they'll let you know if you make them feel safe or not.
Yeah.
They're very good at that.
Yeah.
And in that sense of the leadership, because, obviously I'll walk and I see, like, the other day I walked in and Renee's just sitting there and you guys are talking through stuff and she feels safe. And actually not taking away from Rose, but where I really, again, I'm so proud of Rose. It's like she's implemented a structure for you to step into, which means the baseline stuff's done. Excuse me. But then the execution can be yours.
Yeah, 100%. Like everyone in that space feel like all whānau, tamariki, kaiako feel safe in that space because of Rose and how she's built that feeling, basically. Like it's a feeling when you walk into our space, I think. And now, it's my turn to execute it through my own lens.
Built a beautiful runway.
Yeah,
she's actually built your own runway, your runway.
Yes,
she's had hers.
Yeah.
And the thing is, often leaders will build one runway and expect that every leader does the same thing. But actually, she's just done your own and will help you build your own. And then, you know, it's a cool experience. And I think first, I mean, you're only been in a week, but actually you haven't. You know, setting up the Mondays and all those sorts of things was a very level 5 leadership move, I think, by Rose. But it's an exciting time and window. And I can't wait to come back round in about 3 or 4 months and talk through this, because then you'll be kind of past that thing and be like, wow, you know.
Yeah. And I think stepping out of the classroom and seeing like all of the structure and relationships and everything that I was hoping to lead within the room, and now being out here and I can see that happening, that gives me confidence, like, oh, I've done that before and now I'm just in a different space and I'll do it again. And then when I step out of here, I'm sure I'll look back and be like, oh, whoa, I did do that.
Yes.
But I think that's, I don't know if that's counted as imposter syndrome, where I can't like see it right now.
I think this is my take. If you're not feeling a little bit of imposter syndrome in places, you're not pushing hard enough. Yeah. I do believe that. There is today who I am as an individual, as a leader, as a just a dad, a husband. You know, when you see your wife doing really great things and you can feel imposter syndrome, or you can feel the imposter syndrome and then level up, exactly what you spoke to. The needs of children, you can feel like, hey, I don't understand or know that, or I can be like, yep, feel a bit of imposter syndrome. Actually, I'm going to go out and figure it out. What do I need to do? What relationships do I need to build? What resources do we need? Or what learning do I need to do? Imposter syndrome it's all how we frame it. Like, lots of people do not feel imposter syndrome in our communities.
It shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't want that for people. I don't want that for my kids. I don't want that for our teaching team. I don't want that for our leaders. You got to feel a little bit. Yeah. Otherwise, you're not pushing.
I think also, like, I've had lots of conversations with Rose about it, and it's nice to know, like, she, you know, we all sort of have that and feel that same, but it also prompted me to reflect, like, deeper into my personal life as to, like, in my formative years, like, maybe why am I thinking like this, or like why do I have that? And I've been able to kind of pinpoint certain parts of my childhood or relationships that I've had with family members or friends that have, like, I guess, a little bit trauma aligned.
Yep.
As to,
and have emphasised some of those pain points.
Yeah.
But I am really proud of you. I love this. I love that corridor. I look forward to what the batch has got coming, which has already been such a beautiful space and doing so well. We're right behind you.
Thank you.
I know that I know that you feel that you've got the support of all of us, which is fantastic. And I look forward to getting on here after about 3 or 4 months and we can talk through and go. But I appreciate your vulnerability today.
Thank you. Hopefully I'm not crying by then. Hopefully I've sucked it up by then.
Yeah, that'll be okay. And if that's the case and there's tears and things, look, we'll deal with it then.
I think I'm just a big crybaby, so it'll probably never change.
All right. Well, thank you, Rob. We appreciate it.
Thank
Up the was.